Namaste, good morning. So today we are continuing where we left off. Yesterday or the last time, I did a podcast on Vedic Pulse Part 1, and now we are continuing where we left off. So I said there are many. Let's go in a little bit into the anatomy of the nadis or the anatomy of our energetic body or the subtle body, the one that's made of prana, the one that we cannot see, but it's there. So we talked about there are 14 principal nadis, right? The 14 principal, and in the Chinese medicine, they call it meridians, we call them nadis, right? And both in the yoga system as well as Ayurveda Vedic system, they're called nadis. So we talked about how Sushumna, Ida, Pingala were the three main nadis that we are concerned with. And among these, so we have a spine, we have a brain and the brain stem. And wherever the spine is, inside it is an energetic, think of it as an energetic pipe or, like an energetic pipe where a river of energy is flowing in and out. So this energetic pipe in our spine is called the Sushumna Nadi. Sometimes it is also called Brahma Nadi. Why? So when a person leaves their body, so the Atma travels through our soul when its soul has to leave the body. Atma is going to travel through the Sushumna Nadi, and then these nadis have all the sub nadis and sub channels, and they open into these orifices of the body. For example, if somebody is going to go in the spiritual loka and go to Vaikuntha or get mukti, they will leave their body from the top of their head in the Brahmarudra chakra. So the Atma or the soul at the time of death will travel through there and leave. Or even if they're going to a higher planet, or they will leave through the nostrils, or they will leave the soul will leave through the mouth and something. And if the soul is leaving through different places, it'll travel downwards through Sushumna Nadi. Okay? Why? Because the Nadi, think of the Nadi, the mouth of the Nadi or the opening of the Nadi is downwards, like a flower which is upside down. So the vertebral column, think of it this way. The left side is moon. These nadis represent sun, moon, and fire, basically. Inside of the Sushumna Nadi, inside of our body, you have the spine. Inside of that spine is like the pipe, an energetic pipe that I'm asking you to think of it as like a river. Inside there is another pipe, another hollow. It is called Chitra, and this is think of it as an energetic pathway, and this energetic pathway goes all the way to the top of our head, and is called Brahmarandra. That means it reaches our crown chakra. Sushumna Nadi or Brahma Nadi has many, many colors. Basically, it has 5 main colors. And just talking about it, thinking about it, or even moving a nadi in a certain way. For example, if you want to feel or activate the nadi, you can think about it. You can imagine from the top of your head, that Brahmarandra crown chakra, beautiful energy is coming in, and it's moving down, 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 all the way to your pelvis. And as it's going from the top of your head down, it's changing colors. Energetic changing colors. Think of it as another hollow cylindrical. Think of it as an energetic cylinder, and inside the energetic cylinder is another energetic cylinder. So it's a completely hollow thing. It's open from the mouth. It goes to different orifices of the physical body as well. All right. Let's move on. There are also nadis that come from the pelvis area. And then these nadis go and start subdividing. From the 14 nadis, there are branches, sub-branches, division, subdivision, sub-subdivision. I mean, in the physical body, think of your lungs. It's like branches and sub-branches and sub-branches. Nadis are also dividing themselves like that. And according to Shiva Samhita, eventually they become 350,000. And they crisscross the body, either horizontally or sideways, crosswise, and they meet at certain places. They are regulating the energy system. Energetically, they're regulating the physical body also. And what is running them? What keeps them running? The chi, the prana. Prana, tejas, ojas, which are the subtle parts of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, are both in the physical body and also in our energetic body. So this prana, which is the king of all energy, so this sometimes we call this nadi body, also the pranic body or the chi body, right? So when people do qigong or tai chi, this is the energetic body, the chi body that they are manipulating, right? Now let's go back to the nadi in our abdominal region. You have heard, I've said it many times, aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita. The divine resides in our abdomen in the form of Agni, also called a Vaishvanara. So whatever we eat, right, it is digested. So the question is this Vaishvanara only in the physical body, or is this Vaishvanara, the digestive fire, also in the subtle body, in our nadi body? So the answer is yes and no. So the digestive fire, or Jatharagni, or Vaishvanara, the Agni, which is part of the divine that helps us digest our food. Physically, it is present as a physical thing, but in the subtle body, it is also present. So think of it this way: when you need to make a fire, right? You need some oxygen, you need some air. So that circulation of air that keeps that going is coming from the subtle body, is coming from the pranic body. Without oxygen, without air, you cannot bellow a fire. So you are seeing the fire in the physical body, in the sense the fire of digestion and fire of metabolism, but the energy of it, yes, we will say the energy is coming from the food, right? But what is giving the food the energy? What is making the food break down? So there is that subtle body is animating. The prana in the pranic body, the nadis are animating the fire. This is why our body is a temple. Our body is called Brahmandam. It is the microcosm Brahmanda, because so many deities are in a very, very small form, are residing in the nadis. And of course, in our heart is the Jiva Atma, the Jiva, the living entity. We talked about that, 1/10,000 the size of the hair. And Paramatma, or Antaryami, the super soul, is also residing in the heart. So the question is, how do we start connecting to our own nadis? Very simple. We know that we have anger, and we have love, and we have fear, and we have so many emotions, and they live inside us, right? They live inside the physical body because we have a mind. Our emotions don't live in the brain. They are processed by the brain. Our emotions are all over. So different parts of the body can store different emotions. For example, lungs will store grief, kidneys will store fear, liver will store anger, just to give you an example. So when we are connecting with the nadi, for example, we don't even have to be touching our pulse, but we can be connecting. So bring your attention to your liver and now scan three of your fingers. Scan your nadi. Now bring attention to your liver and imagine there is a nadi that is connecting to it. You can just visualize it any way you can. Imagine that the nadi on the right side of our body, the Pingala Nadi, which is connected to Lord Surya or Sun, is connected to the liver. Now bring your attention to it. Do you see a color? Do you feel something? Do you feel heat? That is you connecting with that. And for example, when we connect with the Nadi and you think about your liver and you think about there's a line going, energetic line going from the liver to your body, and it comes out of your left nostril. So you can breathe in. Imagine your liver, imagine a red colored nadi going in the right side of your body and exhale it forcefully out of your left nostril. Exhale that anger out. So this is one way of connecting, inhaling, exhaling. Now the left nadi, which is the Ida nadi, we can use with the kidney, for example. If you're storing a lot of stress in your adrenals or you are storing anxiety or fear. So you can imagine your kidneys in your backside. You can even touch your hands there. And imagine there are certain energetic lines running through it, and it connects with your Ida Nadi, the left side of your body, which you exhale through the right nostril. So take an inhale. Imagine all that fear, anxiety rising from the liver, rising from the kidney. Inhale. And exhale forcefully only through the right nostril. You can close the left nostril. Whoa, that feels good. So what is this left nostril and right nostril business? So we're talking about the three nadis. You have your spinal cord and sight is an energetic nadi or energetic pathway of energetic highway. Let's just call it an energetic river or energetic highway, which is inside your spine. And there is one in the right side of your body, which zigzags right and left. And then there's one in the left side of your body that zigzags again. And the left side of the nadi comes through the right nostril, and the right side of the nadi, right side of that energetic highway. So it's a three-way road, a straight road, a road going on the left, and a road going on the right. And they crisscross each other, and where they meet are the chakras, and they come out of the left and the right nostril. All we have to do, these three nadis are, connected with the interconnected highway of energy to different organs. So when I am checking the energy through the pulse, energetic pulse on somebody or energetic nadi, I put my fingers, the index finger, the middle finger, and the ring finger on somebody's nadi. It can be any area. You can put it in on the hand. You can put it on the neck. And then you do a scan. You start scanning that person from the top of the head. Always start from the top of the head where the Adhipati Marma or the Brahmarundra crown chakra is. So you start scanning the person's energy and you visualize. Now, the way I describe it to my students is we have so many things, electronics in our house. We have a refrigerator, you may have a television, a toaster, an oven, you may have your iPhone charger. They're all different electronics, right? Even the car has electronics in it. But how do these electronics run? They need electricity. You need to plug your electronics so that energy can flow in. So when we are putting our hands, especially the tip of the three fingers, just like if somebody plays the veena or somebody plays sitar or somebody plays the guitar, then the tip of our fingers we have to put it on different strings and on the chords, and you make music. So similarly, we put the tip of the fingers on the area of the nadi, right? And then we visualize and do a scan. And when we are doing the scan, and you have to be very, very good and your mind has to be clear. And when you're doing the scan, let's say you're scanning, let's say the eye area. Sometimes the middle finger will vibrate or there'll be a heat or you will hear something because your third eye is telling you. For me, it's very visual. And sometimes, let's say, as you are scanning and you get to the heart in the lung area, your ring finger might vibrate or feel hot, or there might be an energy in there. Or sometimes as you scan and you go all the way down, let's say to your liver, and you scan or visualize the person's liver, you may feel the middle finger, or you may feel heat, or you may feel cold, and things like that. And these nadis, as you visualize for yourself, or I do it for a client, they seem to have a rhythm, meaning you can visualize a rhythm, or sometimes even you hear a rhythm. The way the Ayurveda masters have described it, they, just like in yoga, in India, whenever you have a philosophy, they compare it to animals. In this case also, for example, how monkey pose, or woodcutter pose, or cat and cow pose, and cow, just the cow pose, cow face pose, Gomukhasana, and things like that. Lotus pose, Padmasana. So they visualize this. So the way the nadis, or the energetic nadis, have been given in our ancient text is they have given something called rhythm, or gati. Or imagine how, let's say, Gajagati. Imagine how an elephant walks. It has very heavy footsteps. And imagine the footstep or a footprint of an elephant. That's Gajagati. Or imagine how a crow sings, kak, kak, or a sparrow, or the singing of the birds, or how a frog hops, or how a frog croaks, ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. So this is how they've described it. It doesn't mean that we have to start looking for frogs. It means our third eye, our energy, as much as we in touch with our sadhana, it will, for some people who are visual, they might see a crow. Or for example, one of the energetic nadi that is described for vata is snake. That if you press it too hard, it disappears and it goes zigzag. So I've been teaching Nadi for years and years. Sometimes my student hears something. If they're visual learners and they work on their third eye, they might see something in their third eye, or sometimes they just feel it. So how the Nadi will manifest on you is going to be different. So what is this gati? What is this rhythm? Blows your mind, doesn't it? Chakras are place. If someone were to ask me, what are chakras? Chakras are these spherical, energetic meeting points of the three nadis. That's what they are in different parts of the body. We put our fingers perpendicular, the index, the middle, and the ring finger perpendicular on one of the nadi. For example, one place that we put our finger is trace your thumb, the opposite hand, and keep on tracing it till you reach this little bone under it, and the artery next to it, under the radial artery. There is an energetic nadi that runs through the radial artery. So you gently touch it, and you can start meditating on that person's energy. And then that energy will start vibrating in one of the fingers. And that's the start of connecting with our nadis. Put our fingers on the radial artery where there's the energetic nadi flowing inside the radial artery. We take our fingers, the index, middle, and ring finger, and put it perpendicular on the opposite side on the radial artery. And we start meditating on the other person's energy till one of the tip of the finger starts vibrating. Nadi for years and years. Sometimes my students hear something. If they're visual learners, they work on third eye and then they see vision. Remember, Nadi is not a clinical thing. It's an energetic thing. And if the students do not have a meditation practice, a yoga practice, a sadhana, then it may not be available to them. So if you are interested in learning Nadi, maybe from me, maybe from someone else, you should start meditating, because it's so much easier with people who have a regular meditation practice. And this is the end of our part 2 of the podcast, and the part 3 of this podcast will be published soon. Hari Om.